Hi, if you're thinking about buying a whole house generator and you live in Pinellas County, you're going to want to watch this. I'm going to go over everything from permitting through choosing a vendor, locating it, costs, maintenance, all kinds of stuff. I'm Jody Southern, your local real estate expert right here in Palm Harbor. So let's start at the beginning. I'm sure you know, with our storms, not just hurricanes, but also electrical storms, it's not uncommon for the power to go out here. Duke does a great job keeping us in power. However, every once in a while, due to Mother Nature, we do lose power for extended periods of time. So it's very comforting to have a whole house generator. A pretty popular one is the 22 kilowatt generators you'll see up against houses all over the place. So let's start at the beginning. You've decided you would like to get one. So depending on where you live, you may or may not have an HOA. If you do, you're going to have to start with your HOA approval. They're going to want to see some kind of a plat with your house on it, and maybe just an as-built survey showing them where that is going to go. You can get help with that from your contractor that you end up choosing, but just know there's a process there that you're going to have to go through. Once they give you the approval, then you can go ahead and tell your generator company, like, let's do this. They're familiar with this process. It happens all the time. They can help you with that. So in addition to an HOA approval, there is also municipality permits that are required. So Pinellas County has their guidelines, their permits that are required. A generator is not just an electric product, but it's also a plumbing product, but due to gas lines, whether it's propane or natural gas. So there are permits involved in that and inspections. So next thing you want to do is choose a contractor. I am a big shopper. I don't care if it's a small job, like as small as, a new lawn mowing company or putting in an electrical outlet or installing a pool heater or a whole house generator. I shop. I get at least 3 bids. Depending on the scope of the project or the difference in prices that I'm getting, I might even get more. I don't always go with the cheapest, but I want to make sure I understand what I'm getting if I'm comparing apples to apples. Ultimately, we bought one and used one of the larger companies. They're a one-stop shop. They pull all the permits in-house. All their employees are in-house, electric and plumbing, all of that. So the reason I did that was for 2 reasons. The smaller guy who came with a great recommendation was an electrician. So I still needed to hire a plumber, and I still had to deal with that part of permitting and that part of the process that I didn't really have time to. I wasn't an expert at that. I felt like going with the bigger company was the way to go. Also, we saved a little over $1,000 by going with the one-stop shop. They have control over their costs, so it cost less money. I felt like it was a turnkey package, and I'm still happy with them to this day. So that's what we decided to do. I did shop it. I did get a third price, and I think I just didn't feel comfortable with this guy at all. So it boiled down to the 2, and then I went with the bigger company. One of the first things we had to decide was, where are you going to put this generator on your property? I live in a neighborhood, like a lot of neighborhoods in Pinellas County. It's not a big lot. It's about a 1/4 acre. So it's got to fit on your property. Interestingly enough, at the time that we put ours in, they had this code pop up where you couldn't put your generator less than 27 feet from a neighbor's house. So it was a noise consideration. So we had to push ours. My gas line is on the front side of one of the sides of the house. We had to run it all the way back, beyond the back of the house, beyond the back of our neighbor's home. So it landed pretty much smack dab in the middle of that side of our pool deck and cage. I'm fine with that now. I see some that are closer to the street, and I kind of like ours in the back. It's behind a gate. I feel like they lock. It doesn't really matter probably, but I kind of like it where it is. They have since rescinded that because my neighbors started putting theirs in, and they're just like jammed up right next to their neighbor's house, and it's no big deal. So that was a temporary thing. But those are the kinds of things that the contractor's going to know, and you guys can discuss and go over. Another problem with that, not really a problem, but an added expense, was because we had to go so far from the gas line that I had like 80 feet or so of plumbing, of gas pipe to run back there. So that was an added expense. It is what it is. We had to do it that way. Depending on your house and the size of your property, and you'll probably have more options than we did. But that was something we had to consider. Because of the HOA, we also had to show them, okay, we're going to buffer that with plants, and it's not going to be an eyesore if you're driving down the road. So we had to do that too. Another inconvenience, but something that had to be done, was the irrigation needed to be tweaked. What happened is there was a sprinkler head right in front of where it was going to be. And while this was in a plant bed between the grass and the pool deck and cage, they told me that sprinkler head would eventually cause probably some kind of the casing or whatever it was, it could rust. So we had to have that sprinkler terminated and then just kind of readjusted and tweaked so we weren't hammering that thing with water. Evidently, it's not the best thing for it. Oh, side note, you should know. When these things run, they kick out some heat on the one side. So if you plant your plants right there, they're going to burn up. So you can't really plant that much in the flow of that exhaust, just FYI. But plan what you got to plan to get the approval and do what you got to do. So what did it cost? Now, this is a few years back. With that extra gas line, all those things, permits, everything, it was about $11,000. I'm sure, because that's been 7 years, it's probably a few $1,000s more now. Another expense associated with having the whole house generator is you do need an annual tune-up. The tune-ups are costing me, about $350-ish a year. They do kind of like any other machine, spark plugs, oil, they're checking the batteries, the connections, all that stuff. There's valves, there's all kinds of things. That is important, obviously. I mean, at first I kind of resented it. I'm like, what? But when the power goes out and that thing kicks on 5 minutes later, you're like, hello, sign me up. Is it time for maintenance yet? So it's something you got to do. Every once in a while, so every week, this thing was going to kick on. It's going to kick on for 5 minutes, same day and time every week. And that's how you know it's running as it should. There's also a light on the outside of it that I go and look at weekly, that it's green when everything's fine. It's orange when maybe you're looking a little past due for your maintenance, and it's red if it's like, hey, something's not right. So you don't want to let it ever get to that point, or what's the point of having the generator if it can't kick on when you need it? So it kicks on every week. You do the annual maintenance. Once your generator runs over so many hours, I don't remember exactly what it is, 50 hours perhaps, 70 hours, something like that, it then needs an additional tune-up. They need to adjust the valves, and so that's another few $100s. About 4 years in, when they came to do a tune-up, you need a new battery. So you could get like the base battery, or you could get the super duper battery with the 3-year warranty. We went for that one. Is like another $350, counting the battery and removing the old battery and cleaning all the connections and all that. So that was extra. The year we had to do the valves, it was like an extra $350. They seem to do this in $350 increments. A couple of years in, I kept getting things from I will tell you, our manufacturer, it is a Generac generator. They kept sending us things about warranty. So I did decide to get an extended warranty. I got a 10-year warranty. It cost $1,065, something like that. And I have used it already. It came in play for some kind of starter or something wasn't working right. And I was glad that I had it. I haven't gotten my return on that investment yet, but I still have years of warranty. So if you do purchase an extended warranty, it does go retroactive back to the installation date. So mine was installed in 2019. The warranty's good too until 2029. Service, I will tell you, the company is important. If you're looking to do this and you're looking for a reputable company, DM me, reach out to me, email me, whatever. I will tell you, even though it's sometimes like, oh my gosh, it's, just more and more money. This company that we use is so reliable. It suddenly was having an orange light or a red light issue. This is 2024, a couple weeks, maybe even a week before Helene. And they were jammed up, as they always are, but if you're an existing customer, they will get to you quicker. So they came out, got it working, left us some extra oil, because guess what? If you do use your generator and it kicks on, you have to shut it off every 24 hours and do a cool down process, check the oil, and then fire it back up. So our problem was with the starter. Well, we lost power. Oh no, this was for Milton, the second storm. We lost power. Within 10 seconds, it fired up. Thank goodness. When it came, we had that thing running for 2 days straight. That's the longest we've ever had to run it. When it was time to shut it off after 24 hours, we were scared to death. Like, what if it doesn't come back on? Good news is it worked. The better news is this company was so great. He was here like at 4 o'clock p.m. when this storm was rolling in. He had been jammed up all day, but they weren't going to leave us hanging. The starters were on back order, but he did a bunch of testing and it was starting up fine. We had just kind of had the warning light that something was, it was failing, but not failed, if that makes any sense. So reliable. Can't say enough about them. If you're thinking about getting a whole house generator, message me, or if you've had an experience with your whole house generator, good or bad, make some comments. I'd love to have a conversation about it. I hope this helped. And if you're looking for more information on homes in the Palm Harbor area, I am your local real estate expert. Reach out. Thank you.